Episode 2, Preparing for Thunder, Pearl Harbor. Before the guns fired, there was an entire orchestra of preparation that few noticed. The Japanese did not simply shout, "Charge!" and rush forward. They prepared for Pearl Harbor with a level of detail greater than many men put into their own weddings. In November 1941, at Hitokapu Bay in northern Japan, a massive fleet gathered. 6 aircraft carriers, Akagi, Kaga, Soryu, Hiryu, Shikaku, Suikaku, escorted by dozens of warships. This was the most powerful strike force in the world, ready to unleash a symphony of steel across Hawaii. The Japanese called it Kido Butai, the Carrier Task Force. Pearl Harbor's waters were shallow. Torpedoes dropped from planes would normally dive straight into the mud. The Japanese refused to accept defeat. Engineers added wooden fins so the torpedo would dive and then rise, skimming flat across the water like a dolphin. What once seemed impossible now worked thanks to a few planks of wood. Pilots trained relentlessly. Again and again they practiced dive bombing, torpedo runs, machine gun fire. They drilled until the motions became instinct. On the day of battle, they could strike as if by memory. Above all was secrecy. The fleet moved under total radio silence. Hundreds of ships, more than 300 aircraft, crossing the Pacific without a single signal. It was as if a convoy of trucks moved through a city, without the sound of engines. Meanwhile, America remained unprepared. Hawaii's new radar stations were barely understood by their operators. Intelligence in Washington held fragments of the puzzle, but no one assembled them. Most believed Japan would strike the Philippines or Southeast Asia. Few imagined Hawaii itself. Information without action was useless. Japan had prepared like a fighter perfecting his routine, while his opponent still struggled to tie his gloves. The difference lay not in sheer strength, but in readiness. Yet the paradox remained. The more carefully Japan prepared, the more it gambled. Everything depended on a single strike. If it succeeded, triumph. If it failed, disaster. It was an all-in bet on the table of war. The lessons of that preparation were clear. Simple creativity can solve the impossible, like wooden fins on a torpedo. Preparation is vital, but turning it into an all-or-nothing gamble invites ruin. Secrecy and surprise are deadly weapons, but only if the enemy remains asleep. December 7th approached. The Japanese fleet crept toward Hawaii like ghosts on the sea. On the decks, pilots tightened straps, polished their sights, and waited for dawn. The sun that morning would rise not in peace, but in fire, steel, and a shock that would change the world, would